Wes has given me just a sense of leadership that I get to mentor and be a model for the middle school girls, and I just think without this experience, I wouldn't have been able to have this mentorship if it wasn't for Wes. And that I'm not as scared to talk about Jesus with other people, or know that what I have to say is true and wise, and my words do matter and they do have an impact. It's just giving me that reassurance that the quiet time that I have with God pays off. I would say to the underclassmen just to fight for truth, and that it's really hard to just not give in to the temptations and to the doubts that the enemy tries to speak over you, but you have to take hold of your faith and just fight for truth and just put on the armor of God every day. Just let those truths outweigh what the devil says about you. At the beginning of my relationship, I always went into my quiet time with God thinking that I need to give the benefit. What can I receive out of this? And so I've learned that going into that space, just how can I learn about God? Learning about God's attributes just filled my doubts and insecurities, and it just outweighs what I think about myself whenever I learn more about Him. Yeah, shout out to Taylor just for being here for all of us and always being the rock and holding ourselves together, and just with such confidence and strength that she can show me and other girls that we can be leaders, and it's not always just the men youth leaders.
I'd say West was kind of my place that I really found a place here. I came from Albuquerque, and so it was a really good transition because I came to Lubbock and I had no idea who anybody was. I kind of found my place with Noble and Mason, and kind of through basketball, and Caleb too. And I was they're like, hey, we go to church here, and they really invited me in, and it was just a really fantastic experience. And it really changed who I was as a person, and really let me open up to everybody around me. So it was really awesome. My best advice for underclassmen would be to really step out of your comfort zone. Don't be safe in anything, because it's easy to be safe, but when you step out of your comfort zone, you find really new things that you really enjoy. I stepped out of my comfort zone from basketball my sophomore year, and I really found art, and I do that every day, and that's what I want to do in my future. I'm at Oregon State and go into graphic design for the rest of my life, so it's going to be really awesome. So I'm excited.
Wes has impacted me so much in my life. I was not finding God in any part of my life, and when I finally came back to West and actually started hanging out and getting connected, I got better in my life. I was happier. I wasn't as depressed. They just made me happy for who I was, and they just involved me in everything, and it's just been a great experience.
Hey, let's talk about when the Lord changed your life.
One year at camp, I came in just not in the greatest of mental states. I was heavily depressed. I came in on that Monday thinking, oh, I'm just not gonna get anything out of this like I normally do. Ripley was telling me, he's like, hey man, the Lord's got a word for you. And that was on Tuesday night. He's like, hey man, the Lord's got something for you. The Lord's got something for you. And I was just shrugging him off. And come Wednesday night, in that word, it basically just lined out, the word just lined out my life and just how I was living it, and just brushing off God. I was like, oh, I can't keep living like this. I need to change. I'm not going down the right path. So at the Wednesday night, I went and found Taylor in the back of the tabernacle, and I asked her if she could help me pray for forgiveness. And we grabbed Trey, we go up to the altar, and I pray for forgiveness, and I just felt this heavy weight of chains just lifting off of me, and I felt so different. And Thursday and Friday, I was much happier. I was just enjoying life. And ever since that day, I have not missed a single West Wednesday that I can go to. I've tried to become a great senior leader and just help all these younger classmen understand that God can help them whenever they're feeling down and whenever they're feeling bad, that just God is always there, and He's always waiting for you to just come back and grab His hand. The advice I have for underclassmen is that they just get involved. Don't just sit back and try to take everything in. Just get involved, get in there. Don't think as much, but just get in there and love what you're doing.
West here, the community is really great. It's given me a a family to kind of have. I used to go to a different church, and I never really felt welcomed there. I didn't feel like I belonged as well as I do here. And there's always people here who are willing to listen, and you can talk to them all the time, and they just will help you get through anything you're going through. For underclassmen, the main thing is just don't listen to what other people think. Like, just do your own thing. People are always gonna diss on what you gotta want to do or what you are pursuing, but if that's what you want to do, then go ahead and do it.
My senior year has ended early, so I think I definitely would go back and redo everything and just really not take things for granted and do things I've always wanted to do, like maybe join more clubs or go to another school dance. And I also really it's weird, but I miss school and I miss being with my friends, and that's not something you'd think that would be something you'd miss. But now that I can't see them every day, I really miss being able to just hug my friends or tell them what's going on, even if it's just a hi in the hallways. I'd miss that type of social interaction with my friends. I really think that any time that we went to church camp was my favorite. I went to church camp this past summer, and I definitely got way closer to God than I ever have been. One night they asked everyone to stand up if you wanted to confess that you wanted to believe in God and confess your sins and all that. And I've done that before, but I just wanted to do it again as a new person, as myself, not for my parents or whatever. And I stood up, and it was just so surreal. I stood up and I went to talk to this lady that I didn't even know, and she was talking me through it, and I just felt so overly happy about that. And then I came home and I just shared that with multiple people, and for the first time in a while, I just sat there in prayer and just cried and just said whatever I needed to say to get off my chest.
West has shown me community since I was 12, and whenever I had stealthy ninja going on whenever I was in 6th grade. It's shown me that I can be myself, no matter what situation or what season of life that I'm in. And it's shown me love, it's shown me how to receive and how to give love, not only to my community, but people outside of my community. Advice for underclassmen and middle schoolers is don't be afraid to be uncomfortable. Something that we really focused on at One Way this past summer was God is seeking your peace, not your comfort. He wants you to be in uncomfortable situations. It wasn't comfortable for Jesus to be on the cross, but he did it anyway. So don't be afraid to jump outside of your comfort zone to seek Jesus. Faith is something that you have to have. I'm realizing that we've had a lot of people come through, but they've shown us throughout our walk is that faith is something that you have to strive for in order to get to where you want to go. And if you continue to pursue Jesus, your faith will be strong, and there's nothing that you can't do without it. Our 6th grade transit day,
we were middle schoolers going to main event.
I was in the back of Dylan's car, and out of nowhere, Dylan has to hit his brakes because a car is stopping to turn into Target, and Taylor hits the back of Dylan's car.
But it's a wreck, but at the same time, no one freaked out.
And so all of us are freaking out because this is our very first true day as youth students. And Taylor's freaking out, and she's blaming Mason because apparently Mason was talking her ear off while she was driving.
It was gave me a feel that, it's fun and games, but at the same time, it has to be serious. West has impacted me by giving me a place to comfortably exercise my faith with God around people I know and people I can relate to and people that I can trust. I've learned that my faith in God, it can't be just me, you have to be surrounded by people who are in the same boat as you, or people that have been in the same boat as you, to give you advice and to help you through all your struggles and all the lows. I think it's changed me by relating to other people, by seeing their side of the story, because I've seen what they've been through before. Maybe I've been through it or seen somebody else that's been through it, but I can give my input or my advice. Another one of my favorite memories was this last year at Fall Retreat. We were at McDonald's in Clovis, and we found a frog, and the frog was kind of burnt, somebody had burnt it, but we had a little extra time, so we made a music video with a frog with Cardi music in the background. So that was one of my favorite memories. I loved it because on Instagram and stuff, there's a bunch of memes of just random animals, and they make a music video out of rap music. videoing the animal. I was like, you know what, let's do it real quick. So there's a frog there, and we started videoing it. It was like the best thing ever.